Interesting fact. Then we'll get to your question. These are, you go into the study of people in the past. You wonder, how do these people know these things? The English word which relates to the retrieval of information is memory. But memory is two Hebrew words. It's two Hebrew roots. Mem, water. Ori is light. How in the name of God do those people understand the relationship between consciousness, memory, the capacity for memory or recall of information, and the importance of water and light? To them it was like the reflection of light off the waters of the brain. And in reality, it is that. You cannot interface the information in your memory without water, because the memory is not in the brain. It never was. It never will be. Your brain doesn't store, excuse the expression, but a damn thing. It doesn't. Everything you know is in a field around and through you. It's like a hologram. And the human brain is an access device, people, and a translator. Helps turn that information into microelectric current. The neural network is always changing to accommodate for changes, and everything that that field experiences, you store it all. It's always being modified by new experiences. It's an energy field. It's like a three-dimensional hologram. And the neural network is just there to accommodate the information, and the neural network is there to download it. It's like a modem for a computer. It's access. That's all it is access. It's not storing a thing. Ultimately, you're going to find everything I'm involved in is wrapped up in this neat bundle called frequency. Everything's frequency. Everything in the universe oscillates. Here's the deal. Technically speaking, vibration is an intrinsic property. Oscillation is how it interacts with everything around it. Technically, in the most strictest sense, everything has a vibratory frequency. Oscillation is how it interacts with those things around it. Every human being on Earth has 7 primary frequencies. Write these down. Frequency, first of all, we have a frequency 8. Everybody alive, frequency 8. And we have a frequency 14 and a frequency 20, frequency 23, 28, 38, and 141. Okay. Now, let's imagine just an illustration. We have a cone here. We have here's the tip of the cone, and here's the base of the cone, and then we have a hidden line in the back because it's circular. Okay. Okay, here's the cone. The number represents the tip of the cone. And below that, let's say it's frequency 8. Below that is a whole complex mathematical matrix, which is one of your energy fields. So this number is an indicator of the integrity of the information in the energy field. Okay? Let's not get any more complex than that. It does get complex, but the integrity of the information in that field is indicated by that number. Now, what I do is just simply check that number on a simple scale of 0 to 10, and it should be optimally a 10, okay, real strong frequency. It'll fall in between 0 and 10. Now, if the frequency is not present, they have a problem. And we've learned to identify these. Someone with cancer will have no frequency 23, they'll have a very frequent 23. See how that works? Somebody with Alzheimer's will have no frequency 28. The point is, it all starts with energy. I know it. I know it from the results I'm getting. I know it from the results I'm getting. So as an experimentalist, as it were, you're the experimental process that I design and set up, and I look for the results in the experiment. It's like the double slit test, you know, where I'm sending electrons through there, and we're looking at the interference patterns, okay, and we're trying to interpret what we're seeing there. What's going on? It's the same way with a human being. It's quite complex energy. What's happening here? How did it originate? You know, how did it manifest in this way? Really interesting stuff. But I don't even have to think in terms of chemistry. I forget chemistry. Because chemistry is actually ultimately going to be affected by energy. In fact, energy will dictate everything about chemistry. I just don't even think about pharmacology and chemistry. That's not my field. I'm not qualified there. All I can think about is energy. And I think, based on my opinion, everything else manifests out of that. I believe, I'm finding that a lot of viruses will store in the muscles along the spinal column. They basically thrive off the energy going through the central nervous system. And they go into kind of a state of dormancy. Yeah. And when you're under stress, they'll activate. I'm going to talk to you about AIDS. They're all geologists and geophysicists, and they're looking, what? He says, yes, he says, you see, a friend of mine is a microbiologist, and one day he approaches me and he says, you work a lot with your electron microscope, don't you? Yeah, he said, the entities we photograph are so small we have to use an electron microscope. He said, are you really good with that instrument? Oh, he says, I'm very good. I use it a lot. He says, would you help me photograph a virus? Photograph a virus? I've never photographed a virus. I suppose I could. He says, yeah, I'll work with you. He says, we'll have to be careful with this virus. So they set up the whole procedure, and he photographs a virus. And his friend takes the results, and he gets back to him. He says, you know, this is as we suspected. This is the 8th discrete AIDS virus we found. And this one appears to be a recombinant of the virus that causes leukemia in cattle combined with the virus that causes leukemia in cats. Somebody's sticking viruses together. And the viable offspring are what we call the HIV organism. I don't believe...
Like a person?
I don't... Yes, obviously. I know my cats don't have an electron microscope. Yes, a person. People are doing it. And so one guy says, you know, he said, I don't think it's an accident that AIDS first showed up in northern Africa along the Kinshasa Highway. And that's where the first outbreaks of Ebola were. No coincidence. Somebody's experimenting on their fellow man. AIDS pertains to real serious damage to the central nervous system. To the CNS, central nervous system. Frequency 8. Frequency 8. And 14 will deal with really difficult cases of inflammation, and also crosses over into mental instability. Now keep in mind that there was a clinical psychologist in California who accidentally ran onto the fact that emotional problems are not a problem with the wiring. Okay, the hardware is all right. That emotional problems are disturbances, or what he called perturbations in energy fields. They're all distortions in energy fields. That's what emotional problems are. And they're getting amazing results now. You can't sit down and talk a problem to death because it's energetic in nature. You have to deal with the energy. Okay.